On Sunday, three Baton Rouge police officers were murdered by an ex-Marine who had pro-black leanings and decided he wanted to get revenge for the murder of Alton Sterling. And this incident clearly shows me how things are escalating in this dysfunctional state of America regarding race relations and the police department. And it also shows me how ineffective leadership is in this country from the local level up to the presidential level, because no one is coming up with a constructive plan to deal with this escalating violence. What we see here is a total collapse of leadership from the local level all the way up to the executive branch of the presidency of the United States, because we clearly see that a segment of the community, in the black community, believes that it cannot get any sort of justice or recourse in the cases of individuals like Alton Sterling, who may be dealing with brutal cops, corrupt cops, and cops who use excessive force. And because these individuals feel frustrated about having to deal with this American legal system, they are now starting to think that they can take the law into their own hands. Unfortunately, in their plans to take the law into their own hands, they are escalating an anarchistic situation in America. Unfortunately, the response from your Democratic mayors and your President of the United States is pretty much to be nonchalant regarding the matter. Yes, President Obama made a speech talking about how this guy was a coward, but when I look at his response to Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, and Eric Garner, his attorney generals are showing how cowardly they truly are because of their ineffectiveness to take action on these matters. That is what has led to this escalation in violence in America. Again, these black men who are former military feel frustrated about the lack of progress being taken in judicial matters, and because they feel that they cannot get any recourse from the American legal system, they are taking the law into their own hands. And by their own twisted logic, killing any police officer is justified in their minds. And unfortunately, many innocent police officers are winding up dead as a result of these actions because of the ineffectiveness of the Obama administration and local administrations like your mayors in places like Baton Rouge and St. Paul and even New York City to take constructive action regarding these officers who have been alleged to use excessive force or be brutal. Now, if someone were to have taken action in many of these cases, I believe many of these situations could have been diffused. For example, like here in New York with the case of Eric Garner. Here we have an officer, Michael Pantaleo, and his black female supervisor, who have been on the job for 2 years after the incident, and no constructive action has been taken to terminate these individuals and do something that will show the public that the mayor is serious about this or concerned about this. No, your New York mayor, Bill de Blasio, would rather pass a law charging people 5 cents for grocery bags than take this action on this situation and make it a priority to deal with this situation. And on the federal level, your Barack Obama pretty much blew off Erica Garner at one of these town hall meetings, again, showing us that the leadership is disconnected and out of touch regarding this issue of police and race relations and brutal police and race relations in the black community. He's pretty much showing that he's not concerned, and many of these Democratic leaders are showing that they aren't concerned either regarding this situation. And that's why things continue to escalate. That's why these individuals are sitting here talking about how they are plotting to kill police officers, because they're not seeing any sort of leadership being taken by your politicians or by boards like civilian complaint review boards or even your local police commissioners. They're seeing that they cannot get any recourse from the American system, so they are taking their law into their own hands. And unfortunately, as I said in the previous video, this is an escalation, and it's showing us that things are going into a downward spiral. And a lot of Americans are taking this with a grain of salt, and they really need to take this very seriously, because when things escalate like this, they pretty much have a tendency to start deteriorating even further. I mean, I look at that Republican National Convention and I'm seeing a powder keg getting ready to happen. Here you have a state with a open carry law, and you have all these individuals that are going to be coming there, converging there, and then you have people who polarize people like Donald Trump making speeches there, and you have these black people, like pro-blacks, talking about they're going to go to the convention and protest it. This is a powder keg waiting to happen. This is something almost similar to your Boston massacre getting ready to happen. And we have your president and many of these local officials pretty much twiddling their thumbs and being completely clueless about the situation. I mean, I look at these murders in Dallas and this murders in Baton Rouge, and this is a situation that is quickly starting to escalate even further and quickly starting to deteriorate even further. Unfortunately, our politicians and our leaders are pretty much completely clueless to how dangerous this situation is, how volatile it is, and how bad things can truly get. I mean, any smart president or any smart politician is going to try to contain a lid on this situation. Unfortunately, the people we have in charge pretty much are showing us they pretty much don't have a clue to how to contain this situation or how to deal with it in an effective way that saves lives and protects the community. Because we really need to have not only a dialogue about how to deal with these brutal police officers who use excessive force, but we need policy to deal with these officers who use excessive force and harm and murder individuals. Because this is what black people, as I believe, truly want regarding these situations. Unfortunately, we have too many people in the mix. They're being loud and they're being emotional, but they're not presenting a platform where they can get these policies put into place where there's constructive action there to deal with these brutal cops, these cops who use excessive force, and then also on the side of the community to deal with these individuals in the black community who are the ones causing trouble and terrorizing the community. Because you have to look at it from a panoramic perspective, and you have to have a comprehensive solution towards solving the problem. And I don't see that coming from your black leaders and your black movements like Black Lives Matter, and I don't see it coming from the local politicians, especially in democratic areas like the ones where all these incidents have gone on, nor do I see it in the presidents of the United States. All these people, all they do is make speeches, but they don't focus on plans on how to deal with constructive solutions to help the community deal with this quickly escalating and deteriorating situation here in America. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.